following is presented by Motion Sports Network.
That's a great way to start. Just throw my pen around. What's up, Drew?
What's going on, man?
Yeah, man. So I'm still trying to get it all figured out, how to get the buttons to play nice and all the cool stuff to happen. And your brother can do it well, quite better than I can. But you know what? It still looks like. So why do I look so stinking low? Why do I look so short? Oh, the chair's all the way up, and
you're only 7 foot. Come on now.
Yeah, you're taller than I am. I mean, you're like way up on the camera. I'm gonna get real close to it. No, that's absolutely what no one wants to see. What's up, Drew? How you doing, buddy?
Good. Best week of the year, right?
Let's see about that. Can I think of a better time in the sports world than this time leading up to the draft? Man, I really don't know. Does that need to be do I need to be lower, higher? Where am I? I'm going to come down here. Oh, yeah, there. Okay, I like that a little bit better. Oh, okay. Is there a more interesting time in the sports year? I'm not really sure, because this is. I mean, I used to say that it kind of the start of the baseball season, and the hope springs eternal, and things like that. But man, just the way that the NFL has overtaken everything. It's such a and go back. What was it? Maybe like 10 years ago that the draft only ran itself on Saturday, Sunday. A few years back, they changed it to this thing of Thursday night, which is it's traditionally like the largest TV viewing night of the week. So they put round one there, and then move round, and then they'll pull rounds 2 and 3 on Friday night, and then finish the draft up then Sunday. I have to say I absolutely like this format a lot better.
And they've also taken over May now, because that's when the new schedule release is. It used to be before the draft. So
right.
Now after draft, you can speculate what the schedule is going to be for the next month.
It's the stories that pop up after round one, after the draft. We're going to grade all the teams and all that kind of stuff, and like you said, then you're going to lead into the schedule release and everything with that. And we just came. Okay, this is we're almost to the 1st of May, so February was the Super Bowl, and so you had to live with the end of February and March with most of April. Well, you put the combine in there, which is a big deal now too. So with the draft, which is huge, schedule release, which is another massive undertaking for the NFL. It's the way that they have seriously taken over the sports landscape is something to behold. I mean, it's been a long time that football has been the number one sport in America, the juggernaut that it is. But they have the last few years, they've found ways to make themselves even bigger. And it's while there's still some issues, I would say, with things that happen in the NFL, the way that they take your and hold your attention throughout the year is way better than it was, say, back in the in the 70s and the 80s, and I think they really became what they are in the early 90s. So I mean, I can still remember a time when football wasn't the biggest thing in the world. But so yeah, all right. So we are here, and we're going to give a little bit of draft analysis. You and I talked earlier. You came up with your own mock draft. You ran them out 1 to 32. So what we're going to do, we'll kind of go through and compare a few mock drafts. Yours, and I've got CBS's, and I'm going to pull ESPN's up. Just because if I can stumble across that, because I mean those are really the places to go to for your
draft. And
yeah, and the fact that you sat down and you were able to run. I mean, if anybody knows the quality of the offensive tackles from Mississippi State, it's definitely you, Drew.
Yeah, and also I want to say that we base this draft that there's going to be no trades in the first round, but I think personally that this is going to be one of those drafts where the most of the teams like the Giants, maybe even Jacksonville, and those teams are going to want to trade back. A lot of experts think that the value of the draft is in the later rounds 2, 3, and 4. So we'll see what happens, but we're basing it based on no trades happening in the first round.
Yeah, sure. Okay, you say that the value can be there in the back end of the draft. Okay, great value, but I just heard something the other day, and I talked to you a little bit about this earlier too, and it's something that I kind of knew but forgot about. Players drafted in the first round get 5-year contracts. If you're drafted after that, it's a 4-year contract. So you're a stud wide receiver that you draft in the second round, after the 4th year, he needs to be paid. A stud wide receiver you draft in the first round has to be paid after the 5th year. So you're getting an extra year at a bargained price. So yes, value can fall in the end, but the bang for your buck is really happening first round. So these first round picks, they have to be something. They have to stick. You're a Ravens fan, so you don't have to follow what happens locally with the Commanders here. I don't even have the Commanders.
You gotta show that. Yeah, there you go. There it is.
Go that way.
I got this.
There it is. All right, that's much better. All right. So, and so they have got some quality defensive players. And they've had some quality draft picks over the last handful of years, but they have not had that impact player come out of the first round.
Chase Young still hasn't showed up.
Yeah, Young, Payne.
They just got the 5th-year option on him, and he's going to be worth it. Chase Young can actually prove his worth.
Right. So
I think it's 5 defensive tackles or 5 defensive players in the last 5 years.
I think so. You know what? I'm getting the weird yellow color on me from the lights that I've got up here in the ceiling. I don't think it's so much my spotlight here. I'm going to change this again and see if it changes anything. Let's shine the light. Nope, that's not going to work.
That's brighter than.
Isn't this great? Who's is anybody even watching it? How many people are watching us? Okay, all right. So nobody's watching right now, but we're should be pimping this as well. Hey, make sure you're following Motion Sports Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Get over to YouTube, subscribe to Motion Sports there. Things are really happening. There's a lot going on. This thing is getting bigger, and KFL and the KBBT, the first round of the KBBT was this weekend. Tons of views for that tournament that happened. So if fishing is your game, then this is definitely your place to be for that. So YouTube.com/motion sports.
Yeah, I think we wound up having 30,000 views last month. So
yeah, so
fantastic.
what we're giving, what we're putting out, it's definitely getting there to people. People are starting to. So you may not be watching me right now, but you're going to watch me later, and you're going to wonder, why the heck can't he figure out his lighting? Because I don't understand how to figure out the lighting. That's why. So if you've got any helpful tips, I will gladly accept them. Yours is a lot better. You look kind of raccoony there with the shadows around your eyes, Drew. But
yeah, no, it's
that could be not sleeping either. So.
Call it having a 7-year-old kid. So
that'll do it. So all right, hey, I'm gonna we're gonna try and keep this thing to an hour. We really start to get babbling as we did with the last show that we had. So us staying to an hour probably going to be rough. But before we really get into to the draft thing here, I want to ask you about your team, the Ravens. What have they done the last? you know their last 2 or 3 year first round picks, if they've had first round picks, you know, what are they looking to do? What do you see them doing here first round this year?
Yeah, so they picked up wide receiver last year. I mean, he did okay to match with Hollywood Brown. But the Ravens got so many needs. I mean, to compete with the Buffalo and Kansas City, man, there's just so much. My gut is telling me they're going to go offensive line. If Jordan Davis happens to be there, he just seems like one of those guys that would perfectly wear the Ravens jersey. I want them to get one of the top receivers if it happens to fall. I don't mind them falling back because I think that 14 spot is going to be a favorite target for Kansas City, Green Bay to get one of these stud receivers. So I can see them going back, you know, and get some value back. That, I mean, they got 9 draft picks. So, I mean, they're sitting pretty. They can move up if they wanted. There's rumors now that they want to go after Thibodeau from Oregon, the edge rusher. Possibly move up where the Giants are if he falls in between like 8 and 10. That would be huge. We picked up Michael Pierce. We signed Tony Jefferson again. We got Williams from the safety from New Orleans, so that filled a huge need. We can go corner if someone like Sauce Gardner happens to fall, which I don't see that happening. Even if Trent McDuffie is going to be there from Washington, I think he's going to be a huge, huge corner in the NFL. So any of those guys would be fantastic. They have options at 14.
So would you prefer them to go offense or defense here, honestly?
In this kind of league, you almost want to go offense.
Yeah, as we, that's one thing that I thought about as we sit here and go through this. It is going to be hard for me to say any team shouldn't be leaning toward offense. Whether it's you know, this is not a quarterback heavy draft. Running backs simply don't go in the first round. You're going to be looking for a wide receiver or some offensive line. So you know, even heck, Tampa Bay. If you're Tampa Bay with you know, you got Brady coming back and going to do another year, why aren't you going to be looking offense? Why shouldn't everybody be looking offense? I'm going to be very hard pressed to say any team should be looking defense, just because it's not a defensive game anymore. This isn't the 80s. You're not going to win 17-14 anymore.
No.
So.
You got to run that spread offense, possibly the 2 tight end set. I'm hoping Baltimore can get like Trey McBride, the tight end out of Colorado State. He's going to be just a beast. With him and Andrews would be just nuts. And also like James Cook out of Georgia. Hopefully they can pick up the running back out of him, even though we just seem to have injuries on running backs. Like last year, we lost our top 3 running backs.
Yeah, that was
bad. So
yeah, I really think that's what contributed to Baltimore not just straight up not having a good season. There was a ton of injuries for Baltimore.
Bad. The turf monster just seemed to get everybody.
Yeah, they absolutely. Yeah. So okay, all right, man. So let's jump into this. We're not really gonna focus a ton on every team. But there are some spots where we're going to stop, and you have to start at number 1. And this is where it seems like there's, now that we're at NFL Draft Eve, there's maybe a little bit of a question as who the number 1 overall is going to be.
Yeah, there's no clear number 1 this year. I mean, there's no clear quarterback. There's no clear number 1 receiver. There's no clear running back. There's no clear, defensive end. This draft is not, I wouldn't say it's not top heavy. It's solid, meaning that there's a lot of good players, just not a lot of excellent players. There might be, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 first round player worthy guys that you can draft.
Hey, Drew. Sorry about that, man. I've got some Wi-Fi stuff going on. Drew you should be back here just about any second. Drew, you back, man? Sorry.
I got you. I got you.
Wi-Fi gets a little tricky here at Burnt Couch Studios. So, you have to take it and you have to run with it. So if you see it go dark, if you see me freeze, keep talking and remember where you left off to pick right back up there. So
as I was rambling on while you were
I lose you at?
I was just basically saying that there's no clear-cut quarterback. There's no clear-cut running back. There's no clear-cut wide receiver. There's no clear-cut, defense end. That the whole draft as a whole is solid. There's a lot of good players, just not a lot of great players. There might be 6 to 8 like round one worthy guys, but there's just not. Hey man, we have to have this guy or we have to have this guy. Jacksonville has a great problem having the first pick, but it sounds like they're trying to get out of it to get more picks. But you got Trayvon Walker from Georgia that's coming up on the ranks that possibly is the number one. And I don't even think he's the best linebacker in the draft. Then you got Aiden Hutchinson. He's just
I mean, you say that Jacksonville would like to move out of that number one spot. But to move out of that spot, you have to have somebody wanting to move into that and wanting to give up what it's going to take to get there. Do you see a team that would want to move up and get Walker or Hutchinson or
no? I think the fun starts on after probably number 6 with Carolina. I think that's after Carolina makes their pick. I think that's when everything starts falling apart with.
All right, so go. If I hope you've got it there with you. Your mock draft, and I'll compare you with. I've got Mel Kiper up here now, so we'll kind of compare you with Kiper, and I'll give a little bit of my Kiperish thoughts as we go along. So all right, so you're Jacksonville, you're on the clock, you're number one. Who you taking?
So I have Aiden Hutchinson. You see the tape. He's got the size. He's got the plays. He knows what he's doing. Georgia had probably the best defense that I've ever seen in college in a very long time. And I think Trayvon Walker was one of those guys that actually benefited from it. Every player on that defense in Georgia was phenomenal. So he kind of got lost. His stats were not that great, but yeah, he showed up in the combine. I'd rather have some guy that showed up on film than someone that showed up on the combine. And Aiden Hutchinson, there's just no, there's just no flaws. He just pops.
I'm with you. He seems like a team guy, and Jacksonville is building something a little bit different. I think this year. So I would definitely, if I was Jacksonville, I'd be taking Aiden Hutchinson too.
Now, as much as I would love to see him go to Detroit because he's a Michigan guy, he's just too good to pass up, and we're not here to, satisfy anybody's feelings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's okay. I'm really cannot find what I'm looking for. ESPN, your website sucks everything in the world, I swear. So it's Kiper has him rated as your number one player too. So if you're Jacksonville, you've got to take that. So I'm gonna give up on that, and I'm gonna go over to CBS Sports. That's the other place that I get to. So I've actually printed that one off, and that's that sheet, and this is this sheet. Okay, all right. So let's go next. Let's go number 2. We're gonna take Aiden Hutchinson off the board here. So we're going old school. Who needs all the computers and technology, fancy things that we're gonna show you on TV? No, I'm just gonna write it down here and cross names off.
Kill some trees.
Yeah, right. So no, I'll recycle it. I swear. Okay, all right. So Detroit is coming up next. Your number two pick.
So Detroit has a lot of needs, obviously. Some think a quarterback can go here. I don't believe that. They need defense.
None of the quarterbacks in this year's draft are top 5 worthy. I don't think. Yeah.
No. So I have Sauce Gardner going Detroit, best cornerback value. Just a freakish athlete, runs a 4.3 40. He's big. He has long arms. Just love his game in general. And, just with, thank goodness that Green Bay got rid of Devontae Adams, but they need a centerpiece on that defense. They missed out on the corner from Ohio State. Hasn't really shown that well. So they need a good corner to lead off on that team.
Yeah, that's not a bad thought there too. And Detroit is, as much as you kick Detroit for all the years for how down that they've been, the Bears aren't really showing that they're ready to compete in the next couple of years. Minnesota's like a perennial 500 team with Cousins, I think, and Green Bay really can't. They can't keep this magic going forever. As long as they've got Rodgers, they've got a chance. But Detroit, be young, build. So get you some solid defensive players, and you're gonna draft top 10 for a couple more years probably, and there's gonna be a quarterback out there in the next year or two, and then some other offensive talent that can help you. So all right, so who do you have going number 3 then?
So next I have Houston. Houston might be another one of those teams that may want to try to trade out of there and get as many picks as they need or can get, because they just need help everywhere. Mills probably ain't the best quarterback. They need offensive. They got the worst receiving core. They need a running back. They need, you name it, they need it. So I got a Trayvon Walker, linebacker, Georgia.
That guy is.
He's a beast.
He's a beast. He's a freak. So it's very funny that we started off the show saying, man, you've got to go offense. You've got to think offense. And 1, 2, 3 off the board, you're saying is all defense.
Yeah, because when you're the worst defenses in the league, you can only get better. Right. There's a higher ceiling. But you can get value on your offense. Like, this is a very heavy draft for receiver, offensive line. So I think you can get a lot of value, like we were talking about earlier.
Second, third round, and they're this is I did not actually print off what I wanted to print off, but whatever. It's what it is. But are they the Lions have 2 first-round picks, and Houston, do they have multiple first-round picks there as well?
They got the 3rd and the 13th as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So there's some two top 15 draft picks. Yeah, that's not a bad.
When you're like the Jets, the Giants, Philadelphia has some later stuff, but
the Giants 2 top 10 picks. So all right, but let's keep us some moving here.
Sure.
And so who do you have here? So you're looking at the New York Jets now.
So this is where the start of the stud receivers start going.
Okay.
The Jets are needing that number 1 receiver. I know they're trying to go after Deebo Samuel. So obviously, if they're able to get him, this would change my pick. But I have Drake London, wide receiver, USC, going number 1. I like Jameson Williams so much better, but anything coming off of a knee for a first-round pick, top 5, you need somebody that's going to impact your team like right now. You can't wait on them. Drake London, big receiver, decent speed, great hands. Probably. So
you like London over Wilson, who ESPN is ranking as the number 1 wide receiver in the draft.
Yeah. Generally, I don't go for the Pac-10 guys as much.
Okay.
Just because of the talent, but I think
when we start moving down this receiver list, there is a guy in the wide receiver ranks that whoever takes this guy, I don't care if you take him at 7 or at 32, he's a steal. And when you run him off, I'll let you know. So all right, so the Giants are going to pick twice.
So the Giants got 5 and 7.
Yeah.
So obviously they can take trade offers here. People may start to see, oh my God, the receivers are going to start going now.
Yeah. But I think they'll keep the 5 and trade away that 7 if it happens. So at number 5 here, what do you get the Giants going?
Offensive tackle, Alabama, Evan Neal. Just a monster. I mean, long arms. I mean, I think he's 6'7", 370 pounds, can move. Great run blocker, pass blocker. Giants need offensive line for Saquon if they decided not to, trade him off. Offensive line would be a great help in New York. They have decent receivers. They're the team that spend the most money on receiver, other than the Chargers. The
Giants need to they need to protect that quarterback there for sure. So okay, let's go jump. And all right, so you told me when we were talking earlier that you see here in the number 6 slot, you say this is where the draft starts. So who are you saying is going to go number 6?
So this is where there's 2 quarterbacks that are on top of the list. Yeah, Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett. They're not great. I mean, they have their plus, but I don't think they're first round worthy. But I have Malik Willis. Carolina needs a quarterback.
And so when I saw that you had that, when you sent me that earlier, I found that highly interesting because I've been on record. I've been talking about Malik Willis for months now. I am the biggest Malik Willis fan. I like his talent. I think he's immensely talented. Look what he did at Liberty, and hands up if you thought if you knew that Liberty University had a football team, let alone a talent like this. So that they're not going to be getting the quality of receivers that even say Kansas is going to be getting. So what Willis did there in Liberty, I thought was really great for his talents. I think that he's coachable. I think that he'll listen. I think that he'll learn. I think he's going to be an amazing leader, and just an amazing all around human being. I am rooting 110% for Malik Willis. So you're going to put Malik Willis there at number 6 to Carolina.
Yeah, I mean,
and Carolina, like you said, needs a quarterback. So that's. If I'm going to stretch on anybody, I'd say I'd stretch on Malik Willis of the other quarterbacks here.
Yeah, Sam Darnold just doesn't have it. I think I think his psyche is too shot. And Carolina can run the same thing that a Baltimore runs. They can do the pistol running option, pass option, run pass option. So, plus you got McCaffrey in the backfield. That'll only help him get better. So I like Malik Willis.
Yeah. So ESPN ranks him at number 21, and just overall grades of players. You have to take into account the team's needs, and Carolina is definitely a team in need of quarterback. I personally want Willis to fall all the way to Pittsburgh. I am in no way a Pittsburgh fan of anything, but I'm a Mike Tomlin fan, and I think if and I've said this before, if Mike Tomlin were to coach Malik Willis goes to the Hall of Fame. So ESPN's calling him number 21 overall in this CBS draft that I'm looking at. Doesn't have him going until 16, but it's when you're a team that needs a quarterback, you could do a lot worse than
Carolina is one of those teams that they're again in a favorable spot where teams would want to be there because again the value in the first round are those big 4 receivers that I think those people want. Kansas City's got 2 picks, Green Bay's got 2 picks now.
Yeah, and again, if you, I'm going to say this again. Look around that division. Okay, Brady's back in Tampa for another year. That this almost has to be the final year for Brady. Atlanta is still quite a few years away, and New Orleans kind of is teetering on the brink. that they could go either way. So if Carolina takes Willis, if Willis hits in a year or two, you're going to be winning that division.
Now the other place I could see Willis going to is New Orleans.
That's where CBS has him going to, and I think Willis in New Orleans would not be bad either.
Him and Alvin Kamara.
Yeah,
that'd be just absolutely deadly.
Right. That's another team with a pretty darn good culture. That a guy like Willis, the community was just, wherever he goes, that city is going to get a winning personality of a guy, and the city will absolutely latch onto him.
And also, New Orleans is in cap hell, so they need that cheap quarterback in order to work.
Is he going to hang around? So we'll talk about some of the other places that quarterbacks should go. So you're putting Willis way far up the board, which is an interesting thought, but it's not completely unrealistic. Not at all.
And that's why I say this is where it starts getting fun, because if Carolina doesn't go quarterback, there's so much more talent that they can get.
All right. So we're not playing the trade game, but let's say that New Orleans starts believing that Carolina is going to take Willis at 6, but they want Willis. New Orleans absolutely has the draft capital to go to the Giants and take that number 5 from the Giants.
They got 16 and 19.
It could be interesting. And again, we're putting a whole lot of stock in a kid from a low Division I. But hey,
it's the Lamar
Jackson. We get to speculate, man, and look at that. I'm sitting on full screen, so I can see us both really big. Dwight, I missed your comment from forever ago, man. Just about right after the show started. Dwight wants us to talk fishing. Nobody cares about the draft and a low talent pool this year. It is a fairly low talent pool this year, and it may have a little bit less viewership, but trust me, me and Drew are not the two people you want talking fishing. Greg will be back very soon. Him and Blake had a good time last night on Hindsight. If you didn't catch him and Blake not last night, Dwight. Motion Sports on YouTube. That shows, but that's Hindsight is a fun show that
we do everything else other sports.
Yeah. So right, yeah. I don't fish. I drown worms. But hey, man, it's Drew is Greg's brother. I'm Greg's lifelong friend. So he gave us free reign of this, and we get to do what we want to do.
We want.
Yes, I have the microphone.
We're not censored,
and you don't. So you were going to listen to every damn word that I have to say. Okay, no, man.
NFL rules everything, not fishing.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. There's I bet you there's a whole lot more fishermen than there are football players.
Probably that might.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm not. That's. Oh crap! So like I said, look here we are, man. We are on the number 7 pick. And we're over half an hour. We're over half an hour in. Everybody strap in. It's gonna be a long one. Let's see if we can't get a little bit of moving, Drew. Sure. Number 7, the Giants. Who you seeing here with them sitting in that number 7 spot?
So this is a place where I actually see Baltimore going to this number 7 spot. Like we had talked about earlier, they got 9 picks, so they have an arsenal to move up. But if they don't, I like Kevon Thibodeau, edge, Oregon. Everybody's afraid of his mentality. Is he really, willing to play football? Does he love the game? Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I think it's just garbage. This dude is an absolute freak. If he did not break his leg, he'd probably be the number 1 pick this year. He's just a stud.
Yeah, that's CBS has Thibodeau as the number 7 rated player overall, and CBS or is it ESPN has the number 7. CBS has them taking Trayvon Walker, defensive lineman, out of Georgia. But you had George or Walker off the board a long time ago, so he's not going to be there for the
I mean,
Giants.
just think. I mean, with the Giants' 2 picks, you get Evan Neal and Kevon Thibodeau.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh! I mean, the
Yeah,
number one lineman and probably
They CBS put Thibodeau up to number 4. So they're giving him some love. There's that guy. If he slides to 7, that then
a lot of
the
teams are
Giants.
going to be interested.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot, and the Giants would have already taken somebody at number 5, so they can easily take some offers and slide back out of there. That's like you said, it's going to start happening around the 6th pick. So, all right, number 8, who you got going to the Atlanta Falcons?
So again, if Malik Willis doesn't fall, I would like him to go to Atlanta, but
It's another good landing spot.
I have Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State. They lost Julio Jones. They know they need that number 1 receiver. Calvin Ridley's gone after being suspended. Russell Gage, I think, went to Tampa, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, or he might have went to Jacksonville, something like that.
Crazy talent for Wilson there out of Ohio State too. Taking a number 8 is definitely a spot to burn. You're not reaching on him, and I think that he is definitely going to produce there as he.
And also, I mean, they love those Alabama receivers. Jameson Williams would be another perfect pick for them.
There you go. You said the name that the man. Jameson Williams, watching him through the SEC championship and the playoffs, man, he's just the talent in that guy right there, wherever he goes. So let's keep going. Seattle's going to be here next, Drew. Who you got them at number 9?
So Seattle needs that edge rusher. They lost Wagner. I like Jermaine Johnson, edge rusher, Florida State. They love defense up there. A lot of people want to pick a quarterback in this.
If Seattle is a team that's going to need a quarterback, but this is not a quarterback heavy draft.
Get one later.
I think you're going to be reaching if you go pick it here. I think there are some quality quarterbacks that you can find in the 3rd, 4th, 6th round even. If this year's not the quarterback year, wait till next year. It's when it seems like when you have a very sparse quarterback year, the next year is full of quarterbacks.
I think losing Wagner is more painful than losing Russell Wilson. I know it's an interesting thought, but Russell Wilson wanted out of there. He was going to be a player for that team.
Yeah. I said he needed to get out of there too. All right. So we just did number 9. Number 10, the Jets are going to pick again.
This one I have Ike Ekwonu, offensive tackle, North Carolina State. He's another stud. Him and Evan Neal. I mean, you can interchange them 1 and 2. New quarterback in New York. They need to protect him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's the ESPN has him as the number 3 rated player in the draft, and CBS the mock I'm looking at, they have him going as the number 1 overall. So if he's going to fall all the way to 10 there, I mean, if he falls out of the top 3 or 4, anybody who's going to be getting this guy is definitely getting a bargain.
I can't put a tackle as the number 1 overall pick. I mean, as important as they are,
yeah.
I just can't draft a tackle there. Plus, Jacksonville invested heavily in Sheriff.
In this draft, I don't think you need to go. You wouldn't be tackle as the number 1 overall pick. If I go back, who else would I? I mean. Maybe Detroit would could take him there. The Giants, even as well.
Carolina,
It's
Atlanta.
any like I said, anybody who gets the guy is definitely going to be going
it's absolutely
going to be doing well for themselves. All right, so now we have to go to our very special pick, the number 11 pick. It's right. I have to remember where it's right here. Okay, so who are the Washington Commanders going to ruin in this year's draft? What player's career are they absolutely going to sink before he even signs his first contract?
It kills me to say it, but it's just too good to pass up. I have Jameson Williams going to Washington.
Yeah, and just as soon as we say all that him and Terry McLaurin on your outsides, that would be good. And I think that's the thing that Washington needs to learn is this is an offensive league now. They when they signed the Alex Smith signing a couple of years ago and
dip and dunk garbage.
I can't even remember the guy who was bagging groceries that played for Washington as quarterback last year now. Heineke. And I wrote a couple columns about the poor kid and how much I really liked him. Are we still here?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, all right. No, I just swiped things around on my screen, and I'm looking at an Excel spreadsheet now. Let me find. I got us back. Don't worry about it.
We're good.
This is why wouldn't you want to be watching this? It's not just sports talk. We can totally screw a computer up too. So yeah, and this may not be a guy that Washington could screw up if he comes all the way down there.
So you got Carson Wentz. He's going to be the one slinging the ball all over the field. He's not going to dip and dunk. He's got Gibson in the backfield. Logan Thomas is coming back. Terry McLaurin needs a second guy. And if they manage to get Jameson Williams, that offense all of a sudden just looks absolutely silly.
It does, and you would almost say that they're going to be right on the heels of Dallas. As you know, for the top offense in the NFC East, that
doesn't include,
could be interesting. And so I mean, as they're sitting there are some other wide receivers there that they should definitely could definitely be looking for. But as you're listening to the local sports radio talk about Washington around here, and it doesn't sound like they want to go offense. They want to go receiver, but it's a passing league. You need a big stud receiver. Okay, you've got one, great, but are you going to be able to keep him? Why not take the chance? 5 years of Jameson Williams, I'd sign on for that. If the Commanders do that, Washington Sports Talk Radio on Friday will just be, they'll be running around like their hair's on fire. I swear. So
now, a lot of people have Kyle Hamilton fallen to him, which obviously in my draft I have too, but with the talent of Jameson Williams, he's just too good to pass up.
Who are you saying that they've got that they see falling to them?
Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. That's the name that I've heard tossed around a lot, and it's like go defense again because this has worked out so great for you, Washington. Go defense. Screw that. Go offense. That's where you're going to win. That's where you're going to win the games. Look at every playoff team from last year. Look at your Super Bowl teams in the Super Bowl for the last 3+ years. It's an offensive driven league, and so that's, I think that they definitely need to go there. So all right, number 12, the Vikings. What's going on with the Vikings at 12?
So as you were saying earlier, I mean, they're a 500 team with Kirk Cousins, but that offense is already dynamic as it is. Dalvin Cook, Jefferson, Thielen. They don't need offense; they need defense. And I have Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback, LSU. Too many times they've given up games in the late on passings and things like that. So they need a good corner, safety, anybody like that.
I think defense is definitely this is as much as we say go offense. Yeah, Minnesota, like you said, is a team that should be looking for defense.
Yep.
So all right, Houston is going to take Cleveland's pick now at 13.
This one again? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, what's Houston going to do here that Cleveland should have got?
So to add on to that defense, I like Kyle Hamilton.
Hamilton here.
Out of Notre Dame's. They already got Trayvon Walker. Man, those two would just be.
And that's kind of one of your black and blue divisions. That's going to be some lower scoring games. Not bad to build you a defense, because I mean this Houston team has not had a good couple of years, but they're only a few years removed from being a playoff team. Didn't they make an AFC Championship game 5-ish years ago? Something like it. Yeah. So I don't think that that's a bad pick there at all. All right, here you go. Your Ravens are on the clock now at 14.
So, as we talked about earlier, I think Baltimore is going to either trade up or trade back. I don't think they hold the 14th pick. Okay. But they're going to go conservative here, and they need the help because they've had so many injuries. I have them picking up Charles Cross, offensive tackle, Mississippi State. Again, they've had so many injuries. I'm tired of seeing Ronnie Stanley on the injured reserve. They got rid of Villanueva retired, so they need some help to fill up that offensive line, especially with their running game. They need a good rush blocker or a run blocker, and Charles Cross could fill that in. Now, the other one I would absolutely love them to take is Jordan Davis, because the dude is just an absolute freak, and he should be wearing a Ravens jersey every Sunday.
That's what you say. You expect him to be fairly conservative, and I say when you're in this middle part of the draft, conservative is not a bad idea. If you can trade out of it, definitely trade back.
They're going to be answering the phone.
Get you some later picks. If there's nobody that you're killer sold on, I'd be looking to move back. If you stay there, make a quality pick, someone that you're going to have, for a good long time in the future, because it's not your top 5, your top 10, and it's not you're not in the spot where some of the talent starts, could be falling to you there as well.
Yeah, they just depend on Lamar Jackson's legs, so they need to fortify that offensive line and protect him, block for him. So that's why I picked Charles Cross there.
All right, so the Eagles are going to pick here next, taking Miami's pick at 15. What do you see for the Eagles?
Again, they need another receiver. I know they got the guy from Alabama last year, but they need that other threat to help Hurns. I mean, they are a rushing team. Hurts. They were most rushing team last year, so that's already solidified. Their offensive line is awesome. Their defense is still strong. There's not really any DBs other than Trent McDuffie that they can get, but I like that stud receiver. I'm going Chris Olave, wide receiver, Ohio State.
Yeah. So we've got Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Jameson Williams, and Chris Olave from Ohio State. There's 4 wide receivers that you've taken in the first 15 picks, and I'm not at all against that, because those 4 are amazing talents. And you could almost say any of them could go 1, 2, 3, 4 in the receiver ranks.
That's without Kansas City or Green Bay drafting. So Las Vegas, I believe, is the over under is 5.5. I actually like 6, maybe even 7 receivers going in the first half. I absolutely believe that. It's like I said here earlier, the number, getting that 5th year on a receiver, and when you look at what the dollars that wide receivers are commanding now, and there was Deebo Samuel had a big blow up in San Francisco here just this past week, that where he's saying he doesn't want to run the ball, he wants out of San Francisco. Want to be able to regular receiver. So
Okay, all right. So here's New Orleans at 16.
All
What
right.
what to
So
do here?
I have Trevor Penning, offensive tackle, Northern Iowa. They just lost their big tackle. I think the free agency, if I'm not mistaken. So they need to replace that spot. Next guy up, Trevor Penning, offensive tackle, Northern Iowa.
Okay, all right. I'll,
Again, if they're going to run Alvin Kamara, if he's ever going to get out of jail.
this is okay. So this is why I can't sit and watch 4 hours of draft coverage because if Penning goes 16 to New Orleans, now you have to sit and listen to Mel Kiper opine for 15 minutes on an offensive tackle, and you're going to see him blocking and see him in a combine hitting a sled and oh look look at this angle of him blocking this guy and this angle of him blocking this guy. It is beyond dull. That's one thing that the NFL could do is maybe shrink this time down.
Yeah, and it was Armstead that they wound up losing. So I mean, he's just an awesome talent. Yeah. So they need to replace that. That's a big hole. So
yeah, yeah, we're okay. So that's all the offensive tackle talk. We're gonna the next offensive player. You are offensive lineman. You pick. I'm gonna just force you to go move right on to the next pick.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I Trevor Penning.
Yeah. So okay, all right. So you've got him at 16 in New Orleans. 17, the Chargers. What are they doing?
So the Chargers, the only piece that they're missing is an offensive tackle. Seeing that all the top four have already gone off, they're going to probably want to go back, or they're probably going to trade up. Best available for me right now is Trent McDuffie, cornerback, Washington. He's going to be another stud corner. I think Chargers are going to try and trade up to try to get an offensive tackle for that offensive line. Their quarterback's silly, wide receivers are silly, the running backs are silly.
Yeah, that division of any division in the offseason, that AFC West had probably the biggest changes, and so it's definitely going to be something to behold next year. So, okay, the Eagles are going to pick again now at 18.
Jordan Davis, defensive tackle, Georgia. Okay. He's gonna take on double teams, triple teams, and Philadelphia just needs to work on that defense just a little bit more. I would like to see them get a better quarterback, but this ain't the year to get one. So next year would be it.
Yeah. So and I mean, you can see the Saints probably picking anywhere from 12 to 18. That's so that you can get yourself a fine quarterback there next year, or if you really want a quarterback, wait till like the 5th or 6th round and see if you can't find somebody who's
Sam Howell. Maybe in the 6th round.
Maybe he doesn't have to be amazing, but just be good enough until so that you can hold on until you get to that point. Because I mean, all these quarterbacks that are around right now are not going to. All the quarterbacks with their teams now are not going to be there in 4 or 5 years. So maybe you could sign one of those away in free agency over the next few years. Okay, and now the Saints. Gosh, we've just talked Saints and Eagles here for the last 5 minutes. The Saints are going to pick again at 19. We got to get moving, man.
Yeah, we're going to go lightning round, I guess. We can do.
Yeah, let's go lightning round here for a little bit. 19. You got who?
Treylon Burks, wide receiver, Arkansas. Big physical receiver. They need some offensive help. They're going to get an offensive tackle, a good receiver. Hopefully they get Kamara back. So, Treylon Burks.
Okay. All right. 20. Houston's picking again.
20, I have Steelers.
Yes, you do. What the heck am I looking at? I'm looking at a I'm looking. This Joker is just trading everybody around. So okay, yeah. And I knew it was the Steelers that was picking at 20. I'm trying to. I'm trusting somebody else.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Kenny Pickett, Pitt only makes sense. They need a quarterback.
And the town will absolutely explode.
Hometown guy. It only makes sense.
Yeah. And I'm not against that pick. I think the Pickett. I think any Willis and Pickett are both quality human beings, and they're going to go to be coached by Mike Tomlin. And Ben Roethlisberger was when he was drafted, he was kind of like a who? Why Roethlisberger?
Miami?
Why?
Is that
Why?
in college?
What do you? Yeah, and so then go look what he goes and does. So it's that's fine. Okay, all right, 21, big 21.
Patriots.
So that's why
They have a defensive tackle from Georgia,
runner.
Devontae Wyatt, another freakish athlete. That defensive line Georgia had was just absolutely studly. And Patriots again need defense. They could go corner because losing Gilmore, but Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle Georgia, stop the run.
Yeah, I like that too. That's a team that's you're probably smart to go defense there if you're New
especially
England.
with Buffalo run heavy. They also Miami just picked up like 3 running backs. So yeah,
and you've got to get after whoever's going to play quarterback in Miami, and he'll be doing it. Okay, so that's now all right. So
Green Bay
at the 2-2.
So I have Christian Watson, receiver out of North Dakota. The guy flashes on the camera. He's an absolute beast of a receiver, tall, great skills, can break off the line. I just don't think he's a first-round talent receiver, but he's one of those guys that is just a good possession receiver. I absolutely love him.
All right, so give me this guy's name again, because I'm going down to see how
Christian
far.
Watson.
Christian Watson.
Probably in the 50s.
Okay, all right. So let me keep flipping here. That's 50. Christian Watson. So you really think that he's gonna jump? I'm just looking here. Number 50. Yeah, 55 is John Minchie. Minchie.
Yeah, because he had a leg injury too.
Alabama. Yeah, he was another.
Stud receiver that got hurt.
Stud receiver. So yeah, I don't even think I think you might be making this guy up because I'm not seeing him, and I forgot his name that you've said twice now already. So,
yeah, Christian Watson. Another one that could actually go is one that
Christian. If you're watching, Christian, if you see this, message us. We'll send you a Motion Sports hat, buddy, because you are getting some love from the man called Drew. Here on Motion Sports.
After finding this guy's name out today, my new favorite player, we were talking about him earlier, safety out of Auburn. I love you. Smoke Monday.
Monday.
That's my dude.
If you know what I think, I think that Washington should change their name again and become the Washington Smoke Mondays.
I love it.
If Washington was called themselves the Smoke Mondays, you'd rip that Ravens banner down behind you, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. I just fell in love with you today. I saw your name on a mock draft, and I love you.
Go. Get you some Smoke Monday. All right, yeah.
Smoke Monday.
All right. So so you say they're taking a guy that I don't even believe played college football, but I'm just going to take your word for it.
Yep.
23 is the Arizona Cardinals.
George Kalafdis, edge,
Purdue. You said Christian Watson, right?
Yep.
Okay, wow. ESPN has him number 39. So honestly, he's not as far down as you would think. But you're gonna have to skip over John Dotson out of Penn State.
Dotson's gonna be another guy that could sneak in as well.
Yeah, but that's not a bad pick, and Green Bay kind of has the monopoly on that whole area out there, and so a kid from North Dakota going to Green Bay would probably be a cool little thing there. All right, so as I was interrupting you as you were talking about the Cardinals taking who?
George Kalafdis, edge, Purdue. They need to fix that defensive line. They lost Chandler Jones. I believe he went to Oakland, if I'm not mistaken. They need to fill that hole, and this is the best edge that's left on the board.
Okay, it's another guy. I'm looking down here to see where he's. Where he's
leftist.
Carl off the Purdue. Okay, all right. There, and see, this is that spot. Now you're late first round. You've got to start. This
is where you're gonna find
when you're sitting there, you definitely take the player that you need, not I don't think you're taking best available. Then you're definitely drafting for position and for somebody who's going to fit your fit your team and your style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So we just did 23 Arizona, and so number 24 pick will be Dallas.
Dallas, they're getting killed on the offensive line, losing people left and right. Even though they lost their defensive lineman too, Lawrence, he went to Denver. That was a whole debacle. I have Bernard Raymond, offensive tackle, Central Michigan. They need to fortify that offensive line, keep Dak Prescott up. I mean, the running back. I don't even know if Ezekiel's going to be their number one next year. But they need offensive line because they're losing too many guys.
Bernard Raymond, is he? I'm trying to see where ESPN's putting this guy at. Bernard Raymond out of Michigan. Bernard Raymond.
Central Michigan, offensive tackle.
Central Michigan. Okay, all right. That's. I mean, he's just gonna be one of those guys that I'm gonna have to dig through and look at. Yeah, there he is. CBS puts put him somewhere. Put him from a different school, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So you get him 2024 to Dallas. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's go. Let's move this piece of paper back here and this one back here, and I'm having fun doing this. No, but this is going to be the
research project.
Yeah. It is. It's
we do live TV here. We don't, dock it up.
Right. Yeah. So man, okay. Look, you don't just have to watch YouTube. Okay, you can pull this up tomorrow, pop us on, and commute yourself into work while you're listening to this. You're going to get some information. You're going to get some entertainment as well. And I heard somebody say this a couple years back, and it absolutely drove me crazy. They said, "I will sit and watch every second of the NFL draft because that's where I can find the steals for my fantasy football team." I felt really bad for this guy and his lack of time and lack of anyone who loves him, lack of anyone who likes him that wants to do anything with him. So this is what he gets to do. So you know what? Just look, man. This is sports in the end. Let's just have some fun all the way around with it.
Yeah, so to quote my favorite movie, Spaceballs, whatever happens now, happens now. So, what happened to then? You missed it. When? It's now. When will then be now? Soon. So we're live. We don't cut 30 seconds off and So we're all good here.
Okay, all right. So Dallas picked 24. We're getting a home stretch, everybody. So hang in there, but still more yucks to come, I promise. Buffalo 25.
What does Buffalo need the most? Their defense is great, offense is good, the receivers are good, their quarterback is great, their offensive line is great. The only thing missing
they need a city that is not an absolute dump. Is that available in the draft? Did anywhere in college football was city that is not an absolute dump?
Buffalo fans,
no, I don't. I've got the top 100, and I don't find city that's not an absolute dump anywhere on here. So we're gonna have to just settle for something else and love your 3,000 inches of snow next year because that's just crazy. I'm sorry. No thanks.
They have the most devoted fan base. Buffalo, I love you. So don't at me, at Sam.
That's fine. You can love your team, but if it takes you 72 hours to dig out of your driveway to get to the game on Sunday, that doesn't sound like a whole lot of a thrill to me. Just pick Buffalo up. Pick all the people. Nah, I don't know. Take the team and move them somewhere cool, and then everybody who wants to go, all the Buffalo fans, we'll just fly them down to fly them to Birmingham, We'll just move the team to Birmingham, but then all the fans, all the season ticket holders, you can just fly down every week, and you've got a place in Birmingham to hang out in a much cooler city than Buffalo. So
that might be the only place that's legal to have a flamethrower in your front yard.
Flamethrower or 5,000 inches of snow. That's not a hard choice. So if you're picking the snow over the flamethrower,
no,
I think my point has been made for me. So you don't have to at me unless you're going for the flamethrower. You're a Buffalo loser.
You need that flamethrower to burn that 3,000 inches of snow.
Well, but they can't have the flamethrower in Buffalo. It's too cold to fire up the flamethrower.
I got Breece Hall, running back out of Iowa State. They need a running back to get
I have no idea what you said. I'm thinking, how did I let it get this far off the rails? Greg trusts me to drive this car, and I'm going to bring him back just a steering wheel and a rear view mirror. I swear.
Well, if you're in Buffalo, you're stuck.
Wow. Well, all those. I think when I pop on and see what our numbers look like on YouTube tomorrow, is going to be the first time that we ever lose subscribers, and it's going to be because of this 3-4 minutes that I've done right here that I've led everybody into. Look, I'm choking. I may even die because of this. Look at this. Wow. I gave Buffalo such a hard time, and now look, I'm right. It could be happening. The Buffalo Betties may be getting their last laugh. Drew, do you know what a Buffalo Betty is?
I have no idea.
A Buffalo Betty. No, a Buffalo Betty is a girl that you go and meet in Buffalo in a bar, and you're like, man, not bad looking, because it's what, like negative 74 degrees in Buffalo for 9 months out of the year. So she's got to wear like 19 sweatshirts. So when you're hanging out with her in a bar and you're like, yeah, not bad. Then she goes and starts taking all these layers off, and you realize you went home with a 380-pound woman. Because you just couldn't tell what was actually underneath all of that clothing. That's a Buffalo Betty. That they have their own. Good to know. Woman, and if it's, I'm but we've killed an hour, so
still got a couple more picks to go. We're almost there.
You told me who Buffalo was picking, and I said, I'm paying zero attention to you. What? Who?
The only running back that might go in the first round, Breece Hall, running back, Iowa State. He's clearly the number one back in the league, in the draft.
And if I was Buffalo, running back is definitely not a bad spot to go there for them. I think that I think it's a good defense. I think offensively you're pretty well set at the receiver and quarterback positions. Why you take a shot at a running back, and maybe you got you a guy.
Clearly, Singletary isn't the guy. The other running back they don't care about either.
I think we're both on record as saying that we believe that Buffalo is going to win the AFC next year, right?
Oh, hands down, it's not.
Yeah. So we still got some schedule to look at and some training camps and what's going to happen injury wise, but yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So we totally trashed the city of Buffalo for way too long. I totally trashed the city of Buffalo for way too long. They needed more time, but I just don't have it right now. Oh, man. And how about this? You talk about karma. We just go from talking about Buffalo. Now we're going to talk about Tennessee. If there is a city in this country to go spend anywhere from an hour to the rest of your life in, it's Nashville, baby. Tennessee Titans. Who are they taking?
This one is best guy on the table. Devin Lloyd, linebacker, Utah. This is going to be one of those picks that best man, best available. They need defensive help. The run game is awesome with Derrick Henry. Their passing game is great with A.J. Brown. They can probably go a tight end here, but there's no quality number ones. Just because he's the best guy left, I would take Devin Lloyd, linebacker.
I'll tell you what, man. If you I'd do it for a 4 o'clock to late start for a Tennessee game. But if you start at 6th Street and you have one beer at every bar between there and Nissan Stadium, somebody's going to be dragging you to your seat because you're going to be that hammered. And you can walk it all, man. It's killer. It's amazing. There's music pouring out of everywhere, and beautiful women everywhere, and the nicest people in the world live in. It's Southern hospitality on steroids in Nashville, man. It's just it's awesome. It's such a
and also
place.
They opened. They're doing Indy. They had their first Indy car race in the town of Nashville. I think it was either this year or last year. I think it was
last year. Yeah,
it was crossing the bridge. Yeah. I watched that race. It was fantastic. The atmosphere was amazing. And everything else.
It's an amazing city, and the things. I mean, from the Church of Country Music, the original Ryman, to Nissan Stadium is maybe a mile tops. I mean, it was just what a place, and the Nashville Sounds, they play baseball, AAA team. That's a pretty darn good AAA team. They're right around the corner from that, and if anybody who's got a summer Nashville road trip planned, someplace that you got to hit the farmers market. Trust me on this. It's not just we're going to sell you vegetables. No, there's 15 shops inside that are going to sell coffee, and 15 that are going to sell honey and ice cream and sandwiches and some of the best food. I've talked about Nashville and sung all these praises of Nashville and haven't once mentioned Nashville hot chicken. No, there's Nashville hot chicken. Never had Nashville hot chicken. I'm not talking about the Nashville hot chicken that you can get from KFC or the sauce that Buffalo Wild Wings puts on. I'm talking about real Nashville hot chicken. Best food in the world.
I'll have to try it. I'll put it on my bucket list.
1,000,000,000 times better than buffalo wings. So Buffalo, stick that in the Buffalo Betty and smoke it too. Nashville hot chicken better than buffalo wings.
We've done a total 180 in the last 2 rounds.
Yes, we have. And okay, all right. So now we're going to talk about Tampa. Is there any way that I can tie Tampa Bay back to trashing Buffalo? Yes, I guarantee you there is, because I've been to Tampa. Probably the second coolest city in the country, the Tampa St. Pete area. But crap, we're not supposed to be doing. I'm not giving travel advice. We're talking football here. Tampa 27.
I have Kenyon Green, offensive guard, Texas A&M. They just lost Kappa to Cincinnati. They got a hole. Everything else is already good. People are taking discounts just to go play with Tom Brady. That team is just an amazing team. There's not too many holes there. So offensive guard, Kenyon Green.
Kenyon Green to Tampa Bay because why not? All right, Green Bay is going to pick again at 28. I really have to watch my mouth and try and stay on topic here. It's like crap. It's freaking 9 o'clock.
Yep, we got 2
shut up.
left.
I'm not any good at this.
Again, they're going to need another offensive lineman. I got Zion Johnson, offensive guard, Boston College. No need to talk about that one too much.
Yeah. All right, fine.
I'm going to change it up for you on the next one. So Kansas City's got back-to-back picks, and they need help in the defensive spot, but they lost Tyreek Hill, which is going to be a big loss. I changed my pick to Jahan Dotson, Penn State wide receiver here.
I'd be doing that too, and that's as we talked about. That's going to be some of that cheap control that Kansas City is going to need, because they've got some players that they're going to need to be paying.
Well, they're already paying. Speed guys, so that Jahan Dotson would be perfect for that role.
Yeah, he absolutely will. That's all right. So they're picking 29 and 30. Who else you taking with them?
So I like Boye Mafe, edge in Minnesota. I also like Quay Walker, linebacker out of Georgia. They're interchangeable. Pick whoever you like best. Boye Mafe out of that edge out of Minnesota. That's where I would probably put him there.
All right. So who you taking? Minnesota. I'm not seeing him. I'm not seeing him.
Boye Mafe.
Boye Mafe. Oh yeah. Okay. There he is. All right. So we'll put him number 30 to Kansas City. Sure. Yeah. So that's not a bad. You're going to need to play some defense in that crazy NFC or AFC West there too. All right. So we're gonna talk about the Super Bowl representatives picks here. Picks 31 and 32. So first 31. Cincinnati Bengals.
They need, since they pretty much improved their offensive line for most of the offseason, they need to go defensive line. Travis Jones, defensive tackle, UConn.
Okay. All right.
And the Rams that actually traded their pick to Detroit to get Stafford. So Detroit now has the 32nd pick.
So I'm looking at I'm looking at some players that are still out there. There's Dean from Georgia as a linebacker, and Booth Clemson that you haven't taken.
Corner. He's going to be second round, easily early second round.
All right. Quay Walker, Elam. Who did you say you've got going there to the Bengals again?
Travis Jones, defensive tackle, UConn.
Okay, all right. That's a Division II that you're going to need to play some defense in. So that's I wouldn't say that's bad, but I might be if Dean from Georgia is there. I think I'd want to go there personally.
He's a good pick.
All right,
Walker is going to be another good pick.
Yeah. There's
there for Cincinnati would be great.
Yeah. So I mean, as you start seeing some teams bounce. Stretch for a receiver, stretch for a defensive tackles and things like this. That's when you're going to see some of these quality players. And so this is why I think when you set toward the end of the draft, you can do pretty well. And so here we are again. They picked second. They're going to pick 32nd as well. Detroit. Who what are they doing here at 32?
And as we talked about earlier to start the show off, that fifth option is always beneficial to any team, no matter what. I got Desmond Ridder, quarterback out of Cincinnati, going to Detroit. Some people like Matt Corral. I think he's just a little bit smaller. I'm worried about the way he plays. He plays kind of reckless. He's got a big, huge arm, but I like Desmond Ridder, more size, still agile, great arm. I like Desmond Ridder too. Again, I think what he did, not just this past year at Cincinnati, the past few years at Cincinnati, the 2 years he's been starting for sure. Cincinnati is another team that is not going to get some of your top flight receivers and running backs and offensive linemen to play around him. And for him to do what he did, there has to be some talent in him. So put him on a team and surround him with some talented players. NFL, your NFL quality players, and I'm really, I think that's a pretty good pick there for Detroit as well. So, and Cincinnati actually has some decent talent. They also got Kobe Bryant, who's the other cornerback. You'll see him early second, maybe mid-second round. So Cincinnati cranked out some talent last year, and they're getting rewarded for it.
So. Wow. All right. So we made it through the first round of the NFL draft. We made it through the first round of the draft in an hour and 19 minutes. If you want to, if you're just sitting and watching the draft tomorrow night, unfortunately, this is going to be about 5 hours of your night. We just did it in an hour. We had a bunch more fun with it than that stuffed shirt Mel Kiper is going to do. And is Berman? Do they peel Berman out of the closet still for draft coverage?
He might be there. I don't know. Mayock might be back after getting fired.
Okay.
It's the NFL Network. Then you got Todd McShay. He puts in his 10-minute rant on each pick, and McShay giving me 10 minutes on an offensive lineman. Oh my gosh, it's the worst.
Right. Yeah. Gosh, there should be an NFL draft drinking game for the idiotic
every minute after the original pick was made.
It's definitely a made for TV thing. Your other sports do not have this massive time. It used to be 30 minutes between picks. You go back 8, 10, 12 years ago before it came like this. And that's why the NFL, the first round took so stinking long. They've pared it back a little bit. It still needs to be pared back a little bit more. I think it needs to be 10 minutes. Everything that's going to happen, everybody is already in motion with. They like that extra few minutes. It gives the, that 14th minute in between 15 in your 15 minutes in between picks. That's when you think a team's going to call you. But you know what? They'd be just as ready and willing and anxious to call you in minute 9 of a 10-minute clock instead of as 14 minute of a 15-minute clock. So I just like
we don't have commercials. That's the thing that kills me.
No,
commercial.
Right. And you know that they're drag them on and drag them out. And so yeah, we've done an hour and we're nearing an hour and a half now. Not a single commercial break. It's just been us blabbering on, and if you don't like it, don't watch it. And if you don't like this, go make your own stinking go sports network and get a couple of your buddies and see if you can do any better. And who knows, maybe you can. But this is what we get to do. This is what we like to do. And you know what? Yeah, someone may be entertained. I get to talk to somebody else to try my jokes out on someone that's not my wife who absolutely doesn't like him. At least I can make Drew laugh. So Drew, buddy, next time
I may actually be on tomorrow during the draft, calling pick by pick. We'll see, depending on schedule and my work. So we'll see
if you're on, if you end up getting yourself on, I might pop on for a few minutes, especially right around the time of that Buffalo pick, because I'm sure I can give you some more. You want me to go? Maybe that's what I'll do. It's been a long time since I've wrote a column for motionsportsnetwork.com. I think I'm going to do it as the NFL cities I hate most. Yeah, I think I like that one. All right, everybody, be on the lookout for that too. So, Drew, buddy, it's been a blast again, man. The couple times it's been me and you, man. This has just been crazy, and I'm sure your brother is pulling what's left of the rest of his hair out right now. Like, why did I let these two idiots on my channel? Why am I doing this?
His porta potty in his camper right now. Lime stock just went up like a quarter.
It's not as hard as you think. Although camper toilets are not really designed for that type of punishment.
Not for Greg.
No, not at all. Oh, yeah. So, man, Drew, it's been a blast. Everybody, gosh, I hope somebody had some fun. So, you'll see us again. I'll let you know. I have no idea how to get out of this anymore. So I'm just gonna say bye. Bye, everybody. Say it. Bye. Hold on. I've got to hit some more buttons too. These just the absolute worst. I'm done. Bye.
Bye.